Hello, hello! On today's show, I'm going to continue to talk about The Last of Us, as well as other peripheral things. Mike reveals the first round of Cover Combat 3, and Patrick says the collectibles world is getting rough. Your wallet may get tossed. Welcome to your favorite live streaming whatnotting podcast, Comics and Collectibles in the Crawl Space. As usual, I'll be your host, your fourth or fifth favorite podcaster, Kevin. And also, as usual, I've got two great gentlemen with me. Patrick's first today. You want to say hey, Pat?
Hello, everyone.
And, of course, the amazing Michael.
Hey, everybody.
Hello. And behind the scenes introduction, we have Karen as a moderator for us today. So that should make everything go seamlessly and perfect and have all kinds of fun, unexpected things happen. So thank you for being with us today as well, Karen. So yep. First thing I want to mention, the intro. That was our Johnny farewell intro. We actually did that intro over the holidays for our short Christmas and New Year's Cover Combat shows, but I just wanted to do it again today because starting next week I'll unveil a new intro. We love Johnny to death, of course. That's why that intro is the way it is. We really love all the great things that are happening in his life, and of course are looking forward to the wedding. But without him being on the show anymore, I get swamped having to respond to emails that of the new viewers now that ask, who's this Johnny character? I think the ship has sailed on the joke that no one that would come to our show as a new viewer would understand. So we're just going to move on from that. Does that sound good? Is that okay with you guys?
Yeah. He'll be a guest from time to time, I imagine.
Yeah, he's still going to be on the show, hopefully, God willing. He graces us with his presence on the regular. And also, too, if he would, anytime he'd want to come to be really regular like us, then we'll change that intro right back, you know. We might have to change it again if he becomes a regular again. We'll have to make a new intro just without the whole he's late joke. You know? Anyway, trying to keep our jokes in our videos topical. So anyway.
That one ran for a year.
Yeah, I think a little bit over a year, right? Yeah, so that one's run its course. All right, so super exciting show today. You got your awesome Cover Combat 3 logo there behind you, Mike.
Yeah.
Looks awesome.
Unfortunately, I block out the coolest part of it.
Yeah.
But I put it up there, and then I didn't have time. I was scrambling. What am I going to use? Couldn't find anything, but I kind of like the way the 3 and the black background looks.
Yeah, it definitely looks awesome. Maybe you should try to create one that would just off-center it. Like, it'd be awesome if you were all black behind you, except you had that logo just to one side of the so you could see the whole thing. That would be great. That'd be cool. I'd love it. Get on that, Pat.
I'll have my guy work on it.
Okay. All right. So without further ado, then, let's get into said Cover Combat 3. Does that sound good?
Sounds great. I have had, you know how hard it is to not share this stuff? This has been all set for like 4 or 5 days now, and it's exciting.
I could only imagine. If it were me, I would have failed multiple times probably. Because every time I've got anything I want to tell you guys, I can't help myself. And let me just add on to that. You know how hard it's been for me not to just ask you?
Yep. I mean,
Especially,
one way for me to kind of alleviate that excitement on sharing it is Marcus is just as excited as we are. So I kind of use him like, okay, you want to see him? And he's right there. So Marcus has already voted. Let's just say that.
okay.
He's voted.
Yeah, especially, we got to actually hang out for a few minutes this week, too. So whenever we were hanging out, that was really tough. I was like,
yeah.
I'm sure it would have only taken a couple questions. And with it being tough for you to keep the secret, I probably would have gotten the answer. So, see, I stood strong. I have no idea. So, we ready, though?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's do it. All right. I don't need to control anything here. You got it all now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
These are going to cover the whole screen, I think. I don't know if you want to put us off to the side just in case.
Okay.
And before we start, what I want to say is Art Germ's first cover work published was January 2007. That falls within the parameters. We're picking covers from 2000 to 2009.
Okay.
His first DC published work was 2009. Everything else, as far as cover work, was 2010 and beyond.
All right. Got it. That's good to know.
Not sure how to take that.
Yeah, right. We'll see where that leads us, right?
It's funny you mentioned that because I actually did sort of the same research to see, when he came on the scene. I knew there was a chance.
Yep, and there is a chance. All right, so here we go. And for everybody, after the show today, I will post these on the Exceller Facebook page and have at it. Everybody can go vote. All right, here we go. First matchup, we have Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic #9 versus All-Star Superman 6.
All right.
Initial thoughts there.
Make these big and take these in. Okay. That's very interesting how they're, slightly similar covers too, right?
Yeah, they have the same pose. There are a few covers here that they're you'll see. They kind of work well together. So if the matchups work out, it'd be great.
But it's all totally random though.
Yes, this is all 100% random. I use the wheel for it.
Nice.
So, and there's no chance for like me to verse one of my own covers because I spin everybody's names, and when somebody's name comes up, I remove them from the wheel, spin everybody else. That way, we all get different matchups. And then after those matchups for people are, then I spin that person's wheel to see which cover goes in that first spot. So I don't pick anything. All right, here goes.
Do we get who these artists are?
I can't. I didn't jot them all down.
Okay.
On the right, on the Superman is Frank Quitelli. Is it Quitelli or Quietly?
Quietly.
Quietly. That's it. Yeah. I don't know who did the one on the left.
It almost looks like, I don't know. I don't want to guess.
Yeah, I can't remember.
It says Millar at the top of the cover there, so
that's the writer.
Okay. And it says Ewing and what's that other one?
Yeah, that makes sense because it almost looks like the signature might say Ewing.
Okay.
But
I'm not sure who that would be off the top of my head.
Well, it looks cool.
Yep. I'll try to. I mean, some of these we're going to know right off the bat, like this next one. We have Superman 204 by Jim Lee versus Daredevil 500. And I can't remember who did that one.
That is his name Marco Jurgovich, something like that.
Oh, yeah.
He popped up a lot when I was thinking about covers, and I don't know what happened to this guy. He's like disappeared from the comic scene.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a great matchup there.
Well, they're both awesome. Yeah, definitely.
Next up, we have Justice 9, and that's Alex Ross, versus Deadpool 14. Don't recall that Deadpool either.
That's Jason Pearson.
Pearson, okay.
Okay, Mike. Hey, how many? I'm curious of this too, because already with as many as you've shown, how many kickbacks did you have to do in total? Just, and if you don't have it documented, just in general, you got to guess.
Kickbacks for a cover that was already submitted was one, and that actually happened because I had a few covers submitted that were outside the parameters. So I kicked one of those back because it was like 2010, and they submitted a cover, and I'm like, sorry man, that one's already been submitted. Then when they submitted the replacements for the kickbacks, it's like, man, these are better than the ones that were initially submitted outside of the 2000 to 2009 window.
So you only had one kickback technically then?
Correct. One kickback for a double submission.
That's crazy. I love it. Right, Pat? That's awesome, right? Isn't that amazing?
Yeah,
When you figured more?
Surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now there were, we all had picked probably 10 to 15. So there were a few that were on my later list, like beyond 8.
That would have been a kickback? Yeah.
That were submitted.
I think you told me about that with mine as well. Because were you the same way, Pat? Did you have 15 kind of prepared for a kickback possibly?
Yeah, I had 25, and I had to cut
That's what I was telling Mike, that I was actually hoping for 1 or 2 kickbacks to help me not regret decision. You know what I'm saying? Because basically when it came down to it, I was just like, okay, take this one then, fine, and I was thinking, okay, hopefully a couple of these will get kicked back because someone else already put it, and then I'll be able to replace it with the ones that I was still real iffy on. Oh man, but none of them got kicked back, so I was like, daggum.
Yeah.
But it's awesome.
I had about 25, and the first step was to eliminate duplicate artists. That got me down to about 12 or 13, then it got tough.
Yeah, I think my first step was to try to get out duplicate characters on the covers.
Yeah, I was looking at them, trying to find reasons that you guys, mistakes you guys would point out. There was an amazing John Romita Jr. in the rain, and I love it. And I'm looking at it going, the rain on his head looks like a silly hat.
Yeah,
it looks like hair, and then everybody's going to vote against
it. Right. That's a good way. That's a good way to do it. Okay.
All right. Here we go. Next up, Teen Titans #1. I think that is Michael Turner versus X-Men 205, and I think that's Finch.
Yep.
Oh man, both of those are awesome.
They really are. I mean, separately, those two could probably both win certain matchups, but man, head to head, wow.
Yeah, I've never seen that X-Men cover before. I've seen that Teen Titans, which is great. I mean, and there you go, Karen. There's a Rogue cover for you.
Yeah, she's dead.
All right.
Okay. And next up, we have Infinite Crisis #3, another Jim Lee, and Astonishing X-Men 26, and
Simone Bianchi.
Yeah. He's actually doing all of the Spawn covers this month.
He's in this week's pick 3, right? Yep.
I've never seen that Astonishing X-Men cover before. That's awesome.
Yep.
And of course, that Infinite Crisis is awesome. Pretty much all the Infinite Crisis could be on here, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you can go with the Jim Lee covers or the George Perez covers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, how do we guarantee everybody buys every cover? Well, let's put these two on the variants and the regular.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Amazing Spider-Man 606, J. Scott Campbell versus Hellboy Corpse #1. Or the Corpse. I think it was a one-shot. And is that that's Mignola doing that one? I'm guessing.
Those are both great. It's going to just come down to taste. I mean, obviously, that's how most of them are anyway, but these are so obviously, you know, to extreme differences, you know.
Yeah, I mean, not to call out whoever submitted the Amazing Spider-Man, but my kids look at it and go, "Ew."
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah,
J. Scott Campbell's good.
definitely.
Next up, we have Hawkman #6 versus Uncanny X-Men 493. And who did that Hawkman?
That's Andrew Robinson.
Okay. Robinson. And then I think it's another Finch on
Yeah, looks like Finch.
X-Men.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm going to hazard to guess whoever submitted the other X-Men and submitted this one too, which is also awesome.
Yeah, it looks like David Finch is the new art germ.
Oh no.
We had what, 2 or 3 of his now? All right. Here we go. One of these covers was one that was
Yeah. So Jesse has chimed in that he doesn't like the Amazing Spider-Man cover because for all the listeners, it's Black Cat smooching on Spider-Man, and MJ is witnessing this and is shocked in the background, and Jesse is Team MJ. So.
Yep.
Yeah, which I agree. I'm totally Team MJ as well.
All right, so up next, one of these covers is one that was kicked back for a duplicate submission. And we have Catwoman 51 versus Star Wars Legacy 22.
I think I know which was the duplicate because it was on my early list too.
Yep. Not the Star Wars Legacy.
No.
Someone was on the same wavelength with the 90s Dark Horse Star Wars covers with me. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. That's a little, sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a kooky Catwoman cover. I remember when that came out. I didn't care for it when it came out. I'm not really a big fan of it now either.
Yeah, a lot of people are, though.
Unless it makes it close to the end and it grows on me. I don't know.
That's a pretty popular cover.
Yeah, I know.
All right. And
who's the artist?
Adam Hughes.
What about Legacy?
I have no idea. It's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
It's tough with those Star Wars Dark Horse because they never really use superstar artists, so it's kind of off the top of my head. I can't really.
Yeah. Man, some of them are so awesome, though. You know.
Yeah, I like that one. I don't think I've ever seen it before. I don't remember it.
Yeah, if they make, whenever covers make it to round 3, I'll have the artist, and then round 2, I'll try to, make a note of the artist.
All right, cool.
All right. It's just there was a lot of,
Yeah.
Jim Lee. So we have Amazing Spider-Man 539 versus Batman 615. And I don't remember the Amazing Spider-Man artist. But obviously Jim Lee did the Batman. I love those back in black.
Yeah, that's Ron Garney, I think.
Okay. Yeah, that period, I wasn't getting books then. I really want to go back and get those. They look great. That whole storyline.
Yeah, those are both awesome. That's another tough one. Yep.
Oh yeah, he was the interior artist, so that makes sense. He looks like he's the cover artist.
All right.
Nice.
And next up, we have Star Wars, the Clone Wars #1 versus the New Avengers number 5.
I'm going to have that same problem, man, with the Art Germ thing, because I'm not a big, well, I'm less of a David Finch fan than I am an Art Germ fan. So this is going to be rough for me. I don't like David Finch's faces for some reason. Luckily, he's wearing a mask here, so that helps.
I do it. And yeah, I don't know who did the Star Wars. Once again, the Dark Horse.
Oh boy, yeah, I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah,
That's a pricey book now, though.
it sure is.
You pointed that out to me, Mike. You're like, do you have this? And I was like, oh yeah, actually I do. Why? And then he just shared the eBay listings with me. I'm like, what?
Yeah, and I think you said, I think I have 2.
Yeah, and I still am not undecided whether I have 2 or not. I'm working on it. I'm sorting my collection. So I'm gonna find out for sure one way or the other here soon.
What are we talking?
Like 1,200.
Yeah.
Really?
First appearance of Ahsoka in comics.
Yeah. I always have a hard time with that, because with first appearance of characters from other genres, like anime, the same thing goes for Harley Quinn. I mean, she's around forever before she was in the comics, but I know that's a pricey book too. It's just kind of weird.
It is. That's why I was like totally taken off guard whenever Mike pointed it out to me. I was like, what? This gets a special case now.
Maybe I shouldn't have brought that up.
I'm sorry, Jessica. As long as we have a house to live in, I'm going to keep that comic. I will sell it if we're ever homeless. But my wife is chiming in that I should sell that book now. But we all know how that goes.
Yeah.
You're happy it's super valuable, but that doesn't mean you're going to sell it.
Yeah, my wife does the same thing. Like, holy cow, look at this. This book's hitting like $400 now. I have that. Are you going to sell it? Well, no.
It's just awesome to say those words. I've got a comic that's worth it.
Yeah. But if I was going to sell it, I can get $400 for it.
I have this New Avengers. I'll sell that.
What's that?
I have that New Avengers. I'll sell it.
Wow.
How much is it going for these days?
Not. I think that's under $10.
Under, yeah, probably.
I think it's a few.
Does that mean because you have multiples, or the New Avengers wasn't a good run?
It was good.
It was good.
Okay.
Century appears, I think, in a few issues after this. I think that's the one to have. But,
all right, cool.
All right, here we go. Star Wars Legacy 0 versus Avengers 25. So that's George Perez on the right, and I don't know on the left. That guy, I don't know, has done a lot of covers.
Well, yeah, watch it be the same guy for every single one of them. or girl. And so this is a Finch Dark Horse Star Wars artist round, apparently.
Finch didn't do that one.
No.
Oh, okay. Slash.
Finch / Star Wars Dark Horse artist guy. Yeah. Or girl. Sorry.
Okay. And finally, we have JSA 73. It's Alex Ross versus Fantastic Four 26. And help me out, Patrick.
Salvador LaRocca.
Okay, that's right. Yeah. Those are good. That's 2 different art styles right there.
What the heck's going on there, Pat? Have you read that book?
I was getting it at that time, but I was kind of like, I wasn't digging Chris Claremont on the Fantastic Four, and I think I just accumulated without reading.
Wonder if that cover has to do with what's going on inside.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It could have been a Doctor Doom theme month and not have nothing to do with the story.
Right.
I don't think Marvel was doing that yet.
Yeah.
But those are cool, both of them. I've never seen that JSA. That's awesome.
Yeah. That's it.
That's a big. Sorry, Mike. A big long run of individual character shots from Alex Ross on the JSA run there.
Oh, really? They're
really cool.
Pricey? Because if they aren't, I'm gonna have to grab them.
I don't think they'd really be too much.
Yeah, it's kind of like your, what he's doing right now, just done in fashion.
Yep, exactly.
Well, those are cool. I'm gonna look into it.
All right, so that's those are our first 12 matchups.
All right, awesome. Good timing on the sound effects there. Nice. I told you this is going to be a smooth, exciting show. Good job, Karen. Okay, so then to talk about the next 2 weeks, we're going to be Mikeless.
Yep.
So we're not going to see the winners of that round until what's that? February.
3 weeks from now, because I'm off, on. Dang. Yeah.
Yeah, man, dagger. So yeah, it's going to be February 19th before we see the winners.
So a lot of voting can go on. This thing's gonna be so good. Wow.
That is true. I guess we just need to promote the heck out of getting votes in on this.
Yeah, well, I had company this weekend, so Ando was here, so I had him vote on the next 2 weeks, or not 2 weeks, the next, round 1 and 2.
I'm in pain having to wait that long already. How about you, Pat? Are you okay?
Yeah, this is I like the first 2 reveal rounds the most, just to see what everybody else.
Yeah, that's the other part too. I want to see what the other ones are. Well, family's number one, Mike. So we understand.
So you're saying you can't just push back your vacation like a week?
I can. I could get these little graphics together and send them, and you guys can just pop them up one at a time, and just because all you got to do is know the cover,
I don't know.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it because we haven't even really talked about how the next 2 shows are going to work. I'm assuming it'll hopefully have a Tyler appearance, but I think we talked about having one of the next 2 shows be our. We wanted to start taking a week off a month anyway, right? So one of those. That's what we talked about too, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, we will keep everybody posted. And here's what I have to say too. Obviously we're trying to get our numbers up on YouTube all the time, but our numbers on Instagram and Facebook grow regularly. So, we'll definitely get the word out on Instagram and Facebook as to exactly how the next 2 weeks are going to work. But everybody know, at the very least, the round 2 reveal and the round 1 winners will be revealed on the 19th of February. Yeah, at the latest. So, yeah, there's pluses and minuses in there. The minus, obviously, we have to wait so long, but the pluses, more people can vote, so. And maybe I might put something up for free if you vote on Instagram or Facebook or something. Who knows? We'll see. Check us out. Follow us, Instagram, Facebook, XcellarComics. So.
They have to vote on Facebook. All votes have to be on Facebook.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. We forgot. I totally forgot about that part. Yeah, all the votes have to be on. Well, I thought we said all the votes have to be on Facebook or YouTube.
What were we accepting on YouTube? YouTube, we were accepting claiming.
Yeah, YouTube was the only place you could claim, but we were accepting votes on YouTube or Facebook because some of the votes come to you direct on Messenger or text message even, right?
That's just within the Exceller family.
Yeah, I know, but we don't want to allow people, maybe people watching this right now don't have a Facebook account.
Right. All right. Yeah, it's
You're making a lot of work for me, Kevin.
Yeah, I'm thinking of ease of gathering all this information.
Aggressively welcome. We are voting on Cover Combat. This is our third installment of Cover Combat 3. So check out this video, started from the beginning, and we just revealed matchups. We do Cover Combat where we pit one cover against another in kind of a playoff format, one vote or one matchup elimination until we get down to one. Go check out our other videos too. The Cover Combat 1 and 2. We did it. How many weeks was it? Like 6 or 7 weeks, Mike, for both of those?
Yeah, Cover Combat 2 was 6 weeks.
How many?
The first one, I think, was 8 or 9 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, we changed the format a little bit to quicken it up. So, but these are, since they just got here, it's just examples of this round.
What it looks like aggressively, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so these will all be up later on the Facebook page.
Yeah, go vote, and who knows? There might be something in it for you for people that vote, and once we get all of the contestants revealed, predicting who the winner is. So it's a lot of fun. So we appreciate you being here. Thank you, aggressively. Appreciate it. All right, so moving on. I guess we have to move on. I don't want to move on. It's like, I'd like to have enough Cover Combat content to just keep talking about it and talking.
You're trying to do the mic.
What?
I've got 12 more matchups ready to go.
We don't want to do that. Do we want to do that? We don't want to do that. No.
Well, I don't have them on my computer. It's all on my phone right now.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess the next segment is pretty cool too. So, a lot of people really love it, right?
Yes. Yep.
Especially you guys.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's get into it.
Real quick, I want to
Wait, go ahead. What?
I was going to say there, I said, when, we were hanging out the other day, I said, hey, do you want me to give you like recommendations? Like I stumbled across a movie that I think you might like.
Hold on, save that. I hold on. Okay.
I get it.
Well, because I actually was going to comment on that myself and kind of lead you into what you're getting ready to say, basically.
Yep.
But go ahead. What were you going to? So we were hanging out for a minute.
Yeah, and I asked you if you want, if I come across a movie that I think you might want to review, and you're like, oh yeah, so I told you one, and it's funny, I can't even remember the title now, and I just told you that the other day, and you looked at me like, yeah, I did that. I watched it. I'm like, oh, yeah. It's like, I reviewed it too.
Yeah, that was so funny. It was funny, not funny, because he recommended it to me or asked me if I watched it or whatever. And yeah, I've not only watched it, but it was a review on what Kevin watched. And Mike was like, was I there? And I'm like, I don't know if you were there, but even if you weren't there, you should have watched it. So basically what I was going to say, Mike, is that all you had to say about that, Mike? Yeah. Okay. So that's what I was going to say. I want to kind of do what Kevin watches in kind of 3 different things. I want to do a what Kevin watched that is not geek related. And basically what I'll do for that is I won't have pictures and I won't really review them per se, like talk about the whole thing. I'll just say, hey, I watched this. Awesome. Check it out. Kind of thing, which I'll start with that right now. And this kind of goes along with last week's show as well. If you remember, we had a whole conversation about the colony.
Yeah.
Right? And what I tell y'all, I told you I never heard of this one. It's got obviously Emma Watson and Daniel Bruhl in here. So I was like, I can't believe I never heard of this one either. Big star, stuff like that. And I love this poster. We talked about that too, right?
Yeah.
And here's the other irony of this. This is not actually called a colony. Its name is Colonia. Which I thought would have been even more appropriate with last week's show had I known that this was actually called Colonia.
Yeah.
But this may just be me, and the reason I'm bringing this up at the top of my segment is because this looks sci-fi to me too, doesn't it?
They kind of play it that way, yeah.
It's kind of spacey, right? I mean, that's what I thought. But like I said, to talk about non-geek culture related, this is not. This is a kind of a docudrama. It's actually based on true events about Emma Watson's and Daniel Brühl are like protesters in Brazil. This is a German movie too, by the way. And he's imprisoned because he's a protester, and we spend the whole movie watching Emma Watson rescue him. Even though it's not geek culture, obviously I still love other than geek culture movies. So I did watch the whole thing, and it's pretty good. If you're into that kind of thing, check it out. It was a good movie. I liked it. So, but then to get into, actually not to get into, I will, this is how I want to cover it when I watch stuff that isn't geek culture. So my wife ended up spending the day with me yesterday just watching stuff, which she's not a geek. She is I've mentioned it many times in the show, murder mystery, kind of detective show, kind of lover. So we watched Prisoners with Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal. Excellent movie. Everybody check it out. Definitely recommend it to everyone.
Make a note. My memory.
Huh?
I'm going to make a note because my memory is terrible.
Yeah, definitely watch that if you're in the mood for that. Which I figured that's the other good thing about this. If I do this with what Kevin watched, if you ain't in the mood for a geek culture show, I'm going to give you a whole list here, you know. Then we watched, and I should have put this in our documentary club group, the axe-wielding hitchhiker. Have either one of you seen that?
No.
Very
top of the list.
Very interesting, true story. A lot of people might remember. Sorry, Karen. Thank you for asking Netflix. Excuse me. And then lastly, we watched Inheritance, which is kind of like a thriller, horror, suspense. I shouldn't say horror. It's just a thriller, suspense drama with Simon Pegg is in it. So is Elaine's boyfriend from Seinfeld. What was his name?
Patrick Warburton.
Yeah. Patrick Warburton and another lady, another girl. I can't really remember her name. But anyway, Inheritance. Also a quality movie if you're into, and I will say this, Jesse didn't like it, and I thought it was pretty good. You know, there's a lot of dropping the ball in the editing and writing of this movie, but overall, I thought it was pretty good. So I give that a little recommend, not a big recommend. So anyway, that is it for the non-geek culture related what Kevin watched segment. And then lastly, referencing what you were talking about, Mike, we kind of lead into this usually during my segment anyway, but basically I'm going to cover my shows, and then at the end, we'll definitely get into what you guys watched. We kind of do that naturally anyway, but yes. I want to literally plan on that every time now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, first thing is I finished Willow on Disney Plus.
Thank you.
I think I might have reviewed this twice, but I never finished it. So I finished it finally, so I wanted to give it a final recap. Did either of you check this out yet?
No, I allowed you to watch it for us.
Okay. So just to kind of, I was talking about how this isn't very good. Special effects were good. It had a lot of cool things, and it's not your, 80s Willow. It's kind of gets pretty scary, creepy at points. But I finished this and a couple things. One, it's not good. If you're watching this because you're a Willow fan, I don't recommend it at all. if you're watching this because you're in kind of a fantasy, kind of demons, horror, sorcery kind of mode, it's not horrible because, like I said, the special effects are really good. And and here's the thing with this: the story is okay in my opinion. The whole journey, and kind of, if you just look at the story from beginning to end, it's not bad. It's actually pretty good in my opinion. It's just the way they play it out, the way it's written, it's just not good. I mean, there is so much dramatic dialogue without purpose in places it doesn't belong, that it just wrecks it to me. Like, I mean, I think I mentioned before, like there'll be like a couple that, there's a party of like 6 of them, and a couple of them will be death-defying, life-threatening battle right here, while then 2 of them are having this serious conversation about how you have to have heart to go on. You don't give up. This is important. We talked about that, and they'll have like this 10-minute conversation, like right here in front of the people that could use their help that are dying. Right. It just doesn't work for me, and then the second part of this is they set this up as a volume 1. Like it's someone kind of reading a book, and at the end of this show, they put it up volume 1, and it shows volume 2 and volume 3 right there beside it. So I didn't really do much digging because I don't really care. I'll probably check it out if it comes out, but I guess there's more coming, because literally all that happened in this entire series is the Queen's daughter is on a mission the Queen's son. The Queen was in the movie Willow, and the Queen's son is kidnapped by demons, and the Queen's daughter sets off to rescue him, and she brings along the baby from the Willow movie because she's supposed to become a big sorceress and save the day, and along the way they have to get Willow to help them. But in essence, it's just the Queen's son gets kidnapped, and the Queen sets off to the Queen's daughter sets off to rescue him. And at the end, spoiler alert, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. At the end, she rescues him, and then it ends, and that's it. Like literally nothing else happens. That's kind of the whole thing in a nutshell. So, not a big recommend on it. It's not horrible, but so I won't say don't watch it, but definitely don't recommend it. All right. Then I watched this semi-new show called The Peripheral. Came out in October. It's an Amazon Prime original. And are you familiar with this at all, Pat?
No.
Mike, are you familiar with it? Are you even here?
No, I've never seen that.
Okay, so Pat, help me out. What's her name?
Chloe Grace Moretz.
Yeah, she is the focus of the show, obviously. And this show really reminds me of Ready Player One. Are you guys familiar with that?
Yes.
So it reminds me in the way that kind of we live in this future where this movie takes place in a future where everybody is super into VR. And, you know, that's kind of what everybody does to not only entertain themselves, but also make money. And the real world's still happening around them. And it's not like as dystopian as like Ready Player One, but it doesn't seem that much of a difference. But basically what happens in this is they come out, we don't know who they are yet, come out with this new VR technology that really submerses you into the VR like never before. And her brother is actually he's like a beta tester for everything new that comes out. But she's the most awesome VR player of all time. So he asks her to beta test it because she's going to be better at it or whatever. But then what starts to happen is everything that happens in this VR world that she's beta testing really starts to have dramatic effects on the real world. So people in the real world start actually taking steps to affect her in the VR world. It's like like I said, they kind of cross over peripherally. It's like that's the whole concept of the show. I watched like the first 4 episodes of it, and it's pretty interesting. But as you can imagine, I'm in that spot where it's like, what? Like if this doesn't stick the landing, it could be garbage, But since everything's just confusing and you've got so many questions right now, you really can't say one way or the other. It's that's the kind of deal right now. The acting is definitely quality. The writing is good. Special effects are good as far as that goes. But I really can't say whether the show is actually good or not until I figure out what the heck is exactly going on. But I'm enjoying it thus far. So if you want to take this journey with me, I wouldn't my vote would be for that. So anyway, what do you think, Pat? You gonna start checking out the Peripheral?
Probably not, since I don't have Prime Video.
Mike?
I'll add it to our list. We've got a long list of things we're trying to get through.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about that here in a minute too, I'm sure. Then I watched this I'm going to say new. I think it is relatively new. Excuse me one sec. Man, I thought I had to sneeze and it didn't go. But anyway, and it's going to interrupt me again. Watch. But anyway, I watched this show called From. And I actually watched this on MGM Plus. I guess it's a new streaming service that's going to come out. And there's a trial I can sign up for, which actually I'm going to do, because this looks like it was on Epix originally. It's a TV show. It was on Epix originally. I was watching it on Amazon Prime, but for me to watch past the first 2 episodes, I have to sign up for MGM Plus. So it's totally... Oh, Karen says she saw this. So this stars the black guy. The guy, I know this guy from Lost. He was one of the main characters of Lost. Lost is coming up again, Mike. I hope I don't give any more spoilers away for you.
Now they've all been given away last week.
But anyway, this show is extremely interesting. When I read the description, that's what. Yeah, Walking Dead as well. What's Walking Dead as well, Karen? Oh, don't give any. Or this. Oh, he was in Walking Dead, was he? I think that's what.
I don't remember him in Walking Dead.
Is that what you mean, Karen? He was in Walking Dead? Anyway, let me talk about the show. So when I read the description, it seemed very interesting to me, so I checked it out. So what's happening here? Morgan? That's not Morgan.
I don't think so.
No,
Karen, you're wrong. Sorry about it. Anyway.
I can see that poster kind of looks maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. He's definitely older here. I haven't seen him in anything since Lost. So anyway. So From takes place in a town that once people come into it, they can't leave. It's like one of those deals where as soon as you come into town and then you try to leave town, you'll drive straight for like 10 miles and then come back in the other side again. And then if you try to turn around and go back out, no matter what you do, you can't leave this town. Okay? So the town starts with us having 2 separate incidents occur where people end up in this town. One family's in an RV and they just get lost and end up in this town. And then the second is these couple guys are in a car, and I guess we don't exactly know. Excuse me, we don't exactly know yet, but I think they're inebriated or something, and they actually end up causing a crash with the RV. So then they're stuck in this town too. So we get introduced to, I think it's 6 new characters that are in this town. As you can imagine how that goes, it's like, first of all, they're trying to get out of the town because they think everybody that tells them they can't get out of town is crazy. So that takes a bit of time. And then secondly, once they realize they can't get out of the town, then they go crazy, and then they got to deal with that whole situation which is all those dynamics are pretty cool to me. So I enjoyed that a lot. But then there's a kicker with this town that when it gets dark, demons come out. And we don't know yet, but basically everybody in town has a talisman. And as long as you have this talisman hung on the wall or hanging in the doorway of your house or something, the demons cannot come into your house unless you invite them. So then this new dynamic starts to happen that not only have you convinced these new people that just came into town that you can't leave town, but now you also have to tell them about demons so they can't go out at night, and they have to trust you that they are demons, because what do the demons do? They act like normal people just trying to get inside from the dark at night. So, of course, the people that aren't familiar with any of this that just got into town are like, let them in, because they're all like knocking on the door and acting like little girls, be like, help me, or like people, they can pretend to be people that they know and be like, oh, let us in, you should let us in, blah, blah, all this. They're like super mind, manipulating demons, but then as soon as they get in, it's over. You're toast. They become all the classic nightmarish demons you ever knew. And that's another thing with this show. This is not kid friendly. This is very, very graphic and pretty creepy and scary. So I'm enjoying it a lot. Like I said, I'm going to start my free trial for MGM2 or MGM Plus so I can check out the episodes past episode 2 on this. But I definitely recommend from, like I said, I watched it on Amazon Prime. So check it out. And then lastly, I caught up on the latest episode of The Last of Us. Me and Mike talked about this for a minute when we were hanging out this week. So I know Mike has seen it all. Pat, have you? Oh, no, because I didn't get you HBO Max code yet.
We'll save that for later. I don't want to say anything about it while we're on the show.
Yeah, Karen says, you're right. I am wrong. He was on Z Nation. Yeah, exactly, Karen. You're right. You're wrong. I mean, I'm just kidding. Wait, I'm not kidding, though. But I didn't know he was on Z Nation. I never watched that. Max liked that show, but I never watched that. Did you ever watch Z Nation, Mike?
No.
Pat, no?
No.
Anyway, okay, the guy from Z Nation is apparently the guy from. It's so funny. Every time I put up a new title of a new show now, I have to keep putting in quotations. The Last of Us, from. It's like, anyway. You said you're going to tell me something about The Last of Us at the end of the show, Pat?
Yeah, we don't want to talk about it here.
Okay. Mike,
Yes.
what did you think of The Last of Us?
I think it's great. We watched both episodes this week, and it's fantastic.
Do you know what day it comes out? Does it come out Sunday? Lexi was speculating it's Sunday.
I was going to ask you that same question. Emily said she thinks it's Sunday as well.
Who'd you say that? I'm sorry.
Emily said she thinks it's Sunday.
Oh, okay. Well, I agree with you completely. Yeah, this is a good show. We talked. I know I said it, but did you agree with me, Mike, that it kind of puts you in the mind of The Walking Dead?
A little bit, but
it's definitely different. I'm not trying to say it's like a copy or anything, but that's the kind of the tempo of the show and stuff. That kind of it was very Walking Dead to me.
Now, I don't want to anger all the Walking Dead fans out there. I think this is done on a higher level.
Really?
Yeah. Some of the
Sorry, go ahead.
Some of the Walking Dead effects, while they looked kind of, it's like, oh wow, that's kind of cool. It was still kind of cheesy a little bit.
Oh, gotcha. I see what you're saying.
And then
so the production value is better. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. And then, I mean, it's HBO, for crying out loud. They're going to have.
That's true. Yeah. Karen's chiming in that we can see on the picture that it says it was released on January 15th. January 15th is a Sunday. So we've deduced now it's a Sunday release thing. Thank you, Karen.
Yeah.
Anyway, so in the second episode, a couple cool things were revealed. We talked about in the first one, basically, we're down to the focus being on Pedro Pascal and this young girl that's kind of special, that she's been infected, but none of the effects of being infected have happened.
Are we putting a spoiler up at all?
No, I wasn't. That's kind of like pretty early. I mean, that's first episode stuff, and we're in the second episode, right?
Well, you find out why she's special in the second episode, I thought. This one.
So you're suggesting that we should put up the spoiler?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll put up a spoiler alert. So if anybody doesn't want to, I think I actually took the spoiler away. Maybe no.
No, I saw it earlier today. I saw it just today.
Oh yeah, there it is. Okay.
It says spoiler.
All right. So if anybody watching wants to check out the spoiler, we will take away the spoiler alert logo once we're done talking about spoilers, and then if you're listening, just fast forward 10 minutes, or leave and come back in 10 minutes if you're watching or listening. Well, you can't be listening. Well, I guess Johnny mentioned he just does listen to YouTube. He doesn't even watch. But anyway, all right, spoiler alert is up. So everything I just said was in episode 1. I don't know what you mean by what we didn't know in episode 1 that we learned in episode 2 regarding her special. I think it was just confirmed in episode 2, like Pedro Pascal and his wife didn't believe it in episode 1, but we learned it in episode 1, and then it was just confirmed to Pedro and his wife in episode 2. Isn't that accurate, Mike?
I'm trying to remember the break, because we watched them so close together. I think we watched one night.
Okay.
To the second night, so I'm trying to remember where the break was.
Well, I think the end of episode 1 was right after he killed that guy, and they had some kind of meter that's able to tell us if someone's infected or not, and they discovered she was actually infected. And then that's when Pedro wanted to leave her behind right away, but they ended up taking her anyway. I think that was the climax of episode 1. But yeah, like I said, I don't know, but I guess this is a spoiler that, it's confirmed definitively to not only us, but also Pedro and his wife that she is infected and, in fact, is immune to it because she's actually bitten. So it's a second time, assuming the first time happened before we ever met her. She's bitten a second time, and that bite heals right away. So we find out she can't be infected or affected by the infection at all. Right, Mike?
Right.
And then this is what I was going to say as a spoiler, so it's good the spoiler alert is up, is then we learn something that they kind of set us up for earlier, and I think this might have been mentioned in episode 1, but it may have been early episode 2, that the crazy thing about this fungus is that since it's like one ecosystem, so if something happens to a fungus like in Detroit, they can tell all the fungus in Grand Rapids, hey, something's happening in Detroit. So then all the fungal zombies from Grand Rapids would run to Detroit. So that's the only 2 Michigan states or Michigan cities I could think of, but that essentially happens in this episode. Was that pretty good, Mike?
Yeah, and when they kind of explain that, and I guess that's called foreshadowing. I never picked up on foreshadowing, but my wife being an English teacher, she does. So they kind of, like we were saying, they explain that, and then when it happens, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't see that coming. But everybody's
and then
it's scary. I mean.
Yeah, and then there's something pretty epic that happens at the end that I won't even give away, even though the spoiler alert's up. But I really so then we'll take the spoiler alert down. We're safe now. I love the show. I like it a lot. It's done well. Writing's done well. Like Mike mentioned, the production, special effects are done well. Yeah. And I don't know anything about the video game. Did you say you did or not, Mike?
I did not. It's a PlayStation game.
Yeah, okay.
So I did have the conversation Marcus and I did with Emily. You know, it's like, oh, looks like we're gonna have to buy a PlayStation now, and she said, well, we're not.
Well, something Lexi is really into. She loves to just watch other people play through a game just for the story. So she doesn't have a PlayStation either, but she knows everything and anything about this because she watched playthroughs of the entire PlayStation game.
That's a good idea. I may do.
Yeah,
that.
it's pretty interesting. So, and you know what they do? You know, they kind of will cut out the, you know, trivial stuff and just have the cool cutscenes and everything too, you know, so kind of like a show. Yeah.
Yeah, I think another good thing about this that I think is a little bit better than The Walking Dead, even though Robert Kirkman was involved with The Walking Dead, they changed a lot. And from what I'm hearing, the people that created the game are involved in making the movie as well, or the TV show. And they're trying to stay as true to the game as they can. They did make a couple adjustments just because it didn't translate well outside of the game.
Live action, yeah.
And it really made sense. So, you know, we've got the source material people really that involved. I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. You think they should, that, like you said, that should be a no-brainer with every show and every movie that's ever made about any other source material. They should have the original source material deeply involved in the production. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, they always think they can do it better. Hey, I can write this story better, even though I didn't come up with it.
Yeah. And we talked about how it's cool at the end of this episode. May have been at the end of episode 1, but we couldn't decide that. I thought they did, but you were thinking they didn't. But definitely at the end of episode 2, they have a little behind the scenes kind of, what are those things called?
Synopsis?
No. You know what they had on DVDs? The Ikets or something, whatever.
Like a special feature.
Yeah, a little addition after the show's over, after the credits. That's just the behind the scenes about the show. So it was pretty cool. What's the word I'm looking for, Pat? Come on, you always know these words.
I don't know, like a little featurette on the.
Featurette. That's exactly. I said at. I knew it was at something like that. Yeah. But anyway, that's at the end of episode 2. Who knows if they'll continue it? But it was cool. I stuck around and watched it. It was fun. So.
And this has been picked up for a second season.
Oh, you know that for a fact already, huh?
Yep, it's been
cool.
Published. I don't even know how many episodes are in the first season.
Me neither.
But it's great. And since, you know, comic book related, the first 4 issues, or the only 4 issues of this, I keep tracking them, and I think a set just sold for $590 yesterday.
Really? Jeez. Do you know what it was prior to the show being a thing?
Well, I know that because we had sold an issue number 1. I think we sold it for around $70 this past summer, and it was an exclusive. I think it was a GameStop exclusive. So I knew that they were going for something not this level, not 500.
Well, because that was just when it was in production or whatever. That nobody knew it was going to be any good, right? Yeah.
So yeah, it's and I mean with the second season being announced and it being as good, yeah, this I see this series definitely holding that value.
Karen says 9 episodes.
That's good. That's great.
Yeah. All right, and then lastly, like I kind of teased at the top of my segment, I wanted to get into what y'all watched. So, Quantum Leap. I did fail. I didn't actually watch a new episode of Quantum Leap. Patrick, did you catch up to us yet? Mike, did you watch another episode?
Hello. Sounds like a doorbell.
Yeah, our alarm.
Right. Happy finger. Jeez. Yes, we watched actually a few more episodes. I think we're, I don't know, episode 7 maybe, 6 or 7.
Nearing the end of this first season. Gotcha.
We're getting close. Did you
Sorry, Karen. Sorry about it.
Did you watch the 2 from the original?
I did not. This is what happened. Okay, seriously, my wife decided, and God bless her because she deserves to decide whatever she wants, that she was gonna take all yesterday and just sit and watch stuff. And also, again, God love her. There's not much more or many more things that make me happier than my wife chilling with me in my living room watching stuff. But the only thing, if you could say, unfortunately, is she just hijacked the TV. I couldn't watch anything else. So that's why I watched all those other things I talked about at the top of the show, too. And I'm sitting there the entire time thinking, man, I haven't got enough watched yet for my What Kevin Watched segment. What am I going to talk about? And then I thought to myself, okay, I just need to talk about all this other stuff, too, because it was good, too. But anyway, since she took over the TV, I did not watch the original Quantum Leap episodes that you recommended to me, Mike. But I'm definitely going to get on it. I swear to you. Before you come back from Disney, I'm going to have everything you recommended to watch, and I'll comment them on them. But I didn't catch up on this either. So,
well, I'd say watch those before you catch up on this because
okay.
There's something that happens in this, and I've been
that makes it better having those old episodes as a reference.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
I talked to Karen when it's happening. I'm like, oh my gosh, and it makes it so good.
Karen, are you familiar with the old Quantum Leap? Did you love those as well? Okay, I can see her. She's giving me a "you're stupid for even asking" nod, and okay.
Well, that's why she recommended that I watch this because when I mentioned how much I liked the original series, she said, then you have to watch this.
I guess I should have clarified my question in asking, did you like it as much as Mike liked it? So, anyway. So then there's Quantum Leap for Mike. Pat, you got anything this week? What'd you watch?
We didn't. I don't think I even failed at forgetting to set the DVR to catch the newest episode of Night Court. I know we caught up a little bit on Young Rock. We have about 25 of those episodes sitting there.
Yeah, I've heard that's really good.
It's pretty well done, actually.
Yeah, I've got a recommendation from one of my employees actually to check that out. Mike, have you seen any Young Rocks?
No. Is that like Chris Rock when he was a kid?
No,
that's Young Chris, I think.
What's Young Rock?
Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The other Rock.
Yeah, the other Rock. And then I just got a new recommendation for You People as well, if you've seen that at all. It's a new comedy I guess I need to check out as well. I might as well just check out Night Court, Young Rock, and You People for next week for the beginning of my non-geek culture, what Kevin watched. So, anyway. Well, that's all I got this week.
Yeah. Karen's right. Quantum Leap, the new one, is really good. I'm grateful that she said that I should watch it because I was just going to skip it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah. Thank you, Karen. I feel better about myself after my segment now. That really gives a warm and cozy feeling. I like that. Thanks.
I thought she was giving herself a round of applause for recommending that I watch it.
That's not Karen's personality. All right, but then you're on deck, Mike. Are you ready? Is the pressure building for you? Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, you sound all confident. All right, nice.
All right. I kind of miss the profits, but that's all right.
I do. I miss it too already. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey,
yeah.
To let everybody know, we will bring the profits back if people are interested in voting. So that's just do it. Let us know. Like I said, if I get one comment from someone that isn't involved with Exceller to bring back the profits, we'll bring it back. I think that's what I said, right?
Yeah.
So all it takes is one.
That's it. All right. So let's get into the pick 3. These are all books that are available Wednesday, February 1st. Man, this was a dreadful week. I've got numbers here. Son of a gun. I've got so many papers with notes and everything. Okay, so this week, Marvel is releasing 15 titles, DC 5, and Image 9. Those are the big 3. So it was slim pickings on what was available.
Yeah.
I went through initially and got like 1 or 2. So then I went back through and picked everything else that was being released.
Well, okay, so can you take this down for a sec? All right, so I got questions involving that, first of all.
Okay.
So you said 15, 5, and 9?
Yeah.
What about like Dynamite and Dark Horse and Boom and everybody? What about those?
They were small numbers as well. I mean, I look at everything. And some like Dynamite, I usually don't pick too many Dynamite stuff because their covers are, a little
risque,
like Vampirella and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Covers, we try to keep things a little along the lines of
family friendly. Yeah.
So those are a lot of those titles are just automatically not available.
Okay,
but it was a small week overall for the comic industry.
Okay,
if Marvel and DC are that slim pickings, the rest of it's probably not going to be very much either.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, that was going to be my next question because I'm just admitting I'm naive here. I'm not pretending for our listeners and viewers. What is a typical that you would consider a good week, not slim? How many titles are released in a good week?
I never look at that. I only looked at it this week.
Ballpark in your mind. When you say this is slim, what do you think is typical?
Marvel could probably do double that, 30. DC can do 15 to 20.
Oh yeah?
Strange, yeah.
So what, like maybe like this is like a 40 week and typical is 60, 70, something like that?
Yeah.
I'm just looking for some kind of ballpark because I'd never thought about this at all,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's interesting to me.
This makes sense because my DCBS for the last 3 months has been way down. Because I don't know what, if they've been cutting titles or catching up. I know there was some weirdness there with the scheduling for a while. And yeah, I'm not surprised because not much out there, I guess.
That's interesting to me. I'm going to start paying attention to that. I was not aware, though, so thanks for bringing that to my attention. So, okay, back to the pick 3. Sorry.
Yeah. So this is the best we have.
There's some good stuff there.
Yeah. Once I got it all together, I was like, okay, these aren't bad. But also, let me look at this. We had a definitive number 1, and then we had, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. We had 5 covers that all had the same number of votes for second place. So
yeah, that was a comment I was going to make regarding Mike as well. I think Mike's hard on himself. Like if he feels like, and I don't mean to be talking about you like you're not right here, Mike, but if you feel like the top 10 doesn't live up to whatever you think the top 10 standard should be, you're kind of hard on yourself. Because I completely agree with Pat. Look, when I got these 10, I was like, this isn't like garbage. Like I can't remember. I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I actually commented on how it was a subpar week, and I thought this week was much better than that week.
Really?
So it wasn't that bad. You did a good job, I think.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Let's go through.
Nice.
So we have King Spawn 19, Simone Bianchi, and like I said, he's doing, and I love what Todd's doing with his Spawn titles. Every month, he's having one artist do all the A covers, which is great. And then we have Dark Web Finale number 1, Adam Kubert, Miles Morales number 3, Dyke Ron. 1 Minute War number 1, Serge Acuna, Silver Surfer Ghostlight number 1, Torian Clark, Young Hellboy number 4, Matthew Smith, Avengers 65, Javier Garan, Scarlet Witch 2, Russell Dowderman, Walking Dead Deluxe 56, the David Finch. And Moon Knight 20, Steven Segovia.
See, obviously I have problems with the dark web cover, but I don't. That's kind of obviously my shtick. But
yeah,
overall, I mean, I thought every cover was good. If I was going to complain about one cover in general, it'd be the Scarlet Witch cover. I thought her face was wonky, but
yeah,
I thought all
for a second. Yeah, I think that dark web cover also is the centerpiece of connecting covers.
Okay.
And, like Amazing Spider-Man, Venom, and then all the one-shots, like the crossovers, the X-Men, Dark Web, and stuff like that. They all connect. When I realized it, I was like, oh, I'm going to get those Amazing Spider-Mans and Venom, and that'll be great. And then I started looking, and it's a huge connecting cover set that involves a bunch of books that I don't get. So I was like, I'm done. I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah. I think we should just be like Troy and just get like every one of every book. I would love that. I mean, if I could afford it, I probably would. Even trashed, I would just get like it would just get. If I was a millionaire, I would probably just get one of every book, at least one of every book.
It's funny at the beginning of previews. They used to do it. I haven't looked in one for a while. They had a price up there if you purchased one of everything in that catalog, what it would cost you.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Oh, we should look for that again. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Because literally, I feel like you don't even have to be a millionaire to, you know.
Well, I think it's like 25 to 30,000 a month or something like that.
Yeah, that's nothing for someone that makes 200,000 a month, right? I mean, what I spend relative to my income is about the same as if I bought one of everything. If I made 200 grand, you know.
All right. Well, if it's still there, I'll try to track that every month. New previews came out today, and if you want to buy one of everything, this is what it's going to cost you.
That would be awesome. I'd love to see that.
All right.
All right. So who won though?
All right. Well, let's go with third place, and these are tiebreakers. We have King Spawn, number 19. Nice. And this received 4 votes. Once we're done, I'll let you know all 5. I think it was 5 that received 4 votes. And
did anybody notice the connections between? I love noting this about your top 10 as well.
Okay.
Anybody notice that there's a lot of holding heads in this? whether it be
outstretched hands. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's true.
They all got together and said, "Hey, let's do this month."
I did notice that with Marvel. I think there were 2 Marvel books recently that had that, and I thought, okay, is this a they like to do their themed variant covers? Like, is this a theme now?
That's what I was thinking. Exactly. Yep.
All right, and then in second place with the outstretched hand, we do have Silver Surfer.
Nice.
And this also received 4 votes.
I have this to say about this cover, and this obviously stood out when I saw this one. That I really like this shiny Silver Surfer, but when we were looking back at covers for cover, or when I was looking back at covers for Cover Combat 3, man, I could not find a Cap cover that I liked because, man, he was so shiny in that decade. He was like, it was, especially, even like Alex Ross, it was like, he was very shiny. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Talking about Bucky Cap?
Pretty much all the Cap covers that I saw was very reflective uniforms.
Yeah, well, that's during the, Bucky Barnes Captain America era, and he, in his outfit was armored, so it had a shine to it during that time.
Okay, maybe that's what it was. Okay, I wasn't reading, so okay, gotcha. That makes a little bit more sense, but yeah, I love shiny Silver Surfer. This is actually why I'm a fan of Fantastic Four #2, Rise of Silver Surfer, because I love the way Silver Surfer looked in that. The way they made him in that was awesome. I know I'm few and far between as far as people that like Fantastic Four Part 2, the movie. But anyway.
Yeah. And this is, Terrain Clark did this. I think he was doing the Flash covers, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
And I just wasn't a fan of those as much. But I do really like this one. When I saw that he had done it, I was like, oh, I'm surprised.
His characters look too soft to me or something.
Yeah.
Is this a one-shot or is this a new ongoing?
I think it's a miniseries. And I think I ordered these for Exceller.
Okay.
That's a new character in the front there too, in his hand. So this is the
What's
first.
his name?
I can't remember. I don't think it's Ghostlight. I can't remember.
Apparently, we need to get multiple copies of this.
Hundreds. All right, and finally,
These will be $80 on eBay next.
Symbol. All right, there it is. Flash. 1 Minute War, number 1.
Nice.
Got all the other votes. I think this leads right into the new storyline going in the ongoing, which I need to get to. I keep hearing that it's really, really good.
So this is a one-shot that's going to lead into the new storyline of the ongoing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I like this stuff a lot.
I don't think it's going to go on very long. It's a minute. That's all.
Well, Flash can slow it down, to where it'll last month.
Yeah, right. Okay, so the other, I have to do the notable mentions here. So Dark Web, finale number 1 had 4 votes. And also Moon Knight, number 20, had 4 votes. And Miles Morales had 4 votes.
Yeah, so Outstretched Hand and Grabbing Skulls, we got Spawn, Miles Morales, Silver Surfer, Avengers, and that's it. Yeah. But yeah, it wasn't a bad week in my opinion. More excellent work.
Well, I'm thinking that Silver Surfer is not going to be an $80 book next week because it wasn't designed by Third Man Records and have anything to do with Jack White.
True. Good point, Mike. Didn't that clapping at the end make you feel special, though? Don't you feel much better?
I do. I feel great.
It's like we're actually experiencing the millions of people that are watching, participating in the show. It's awesome.
But I also do. I do think that there was a little bit of heat on that Silver Surfer book.
So you're recommending people grab it anyway, huh?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty good story.
All right, awesome. You'll have to read it and tell us specifically about the insides later.
I'm going to read it.
Ha! Speaking of that, perfect segue.
Hey.
What?
I keep it. No, we're in the right order. I just noticed. We can't have Patrick do his review and then lead into.
Right. No, he's in the perfect spot. He has to be in the middle, right? Yeah. Are we good now?
Yes.
All right. All right, awesome. Well, all I have to say is everything that Karen's been in charge of have gone smoothly this show. Everything else is not so much, but Karen's been awesome. And I'm going to blame my problems on Mike right now. I'm throwing him under the bus.
Cool. I can take it. Because I feel good. Because I got mass applause.
All right. Thank you, Karen. All right, so I guess I'm first. I read Batman: The World. It's came out in, I think this came out in 2021 actually, and with Pat reviewing a new Batman story last week really got me wanting to read some Batman. And since I'm in the midst of organizing my collection, I have no idea where my most recent issues of Batman were. So I actually made comment to Mike when we were hanging out that, you know what, I need to read that Batman of the World. Because, man, I thought this was a beautiful book. It's a hardcover, one shot. And the idea with this book is it tells 14 short stories from the perspective of 14 different locations on the world and artists and writers that are from those locations. So I thought that was a really interesting concept, because I want to, I'm really interested to see what other people's interpretations of Batman are from other, cultures and such and locations. So I was excited about this, and yeah, that's how excited. I mean, this is how excited I was about it. It took me a year and a half to read it, but that actually doesn't mean I wasn't that excited. I really still was excited. It's just what you choose every day. Different things will make different things pop up. So I thought it was very interesting in this one shot that the first story was out of the United States. So, which I thought immediately I thought, they probably could have left that one out.
They could just say, see current Batman run.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, check out any Batman. Well, I shouldn't say any, but a far majority of any Batman anywhere is going to be from a United States perspective. But nonetheless, the first story is out of the United States. The writer is Brian Azzarello, and it's Lee Bermejo art. So as you can imagine, it's very beautiful, but there's really no story there. It just kind of covers Batman's kind of existence in Gotham City, but then kind of closes it up with saying it's, but now he's gone global. Like, he's been in love with Gotham City for the majority of his life. It actually refers to Gotham City as his wife, but now he's cheating on his wife with the rest of the world because the world needs Batman. That's kind of the gist of the story. It's definitely beautiful, and it's interesting enough the way it's laid out, but it's there's not really anything there as far as the story is concerned. It just focuses on being beautiful and the fact that it's kind of a lead into the rest of this book. Like I said, it's kind of unnecessary, but it's fine. And then I won't really cover. I just kind of give a snippet of there's 14, and I read 7 of them. So I'll just give a snippet of where it's from and what the gist of the story is. Like I said, all the artists and writers are from wherever this is from. So I thought that was very interesting. You could definitely, do your own research to get all of those. I couldn't remember any of them. I have a hard enough time remembering artists and writers from the United States, let alone from the rest of the world. I did note that there was one big Mignola fan in one of these that it made a big point, and the art is similar to Mignola's art as well. I can't remember exactly which one it is, but I figured I'd note that for you, Pat. The second story is out of Paris, and it's a Catwoman and Batman story, and it's about Catwoman going to Paris to steal a lot of famous art that's in Paris. And spoiler alert, and these are all short, so pretty much anything I say is going to be a spoiler, but I'm just going to give a snippet of it real quick. Ends up being more about love than it does about stealing art as far as Catwoman and Batman are concerned, which is also something that wasn't really eye-opening for me. Is like Paris, art, love, it's kind of all kind of stereotypical Paris. But it was pretty good. It's got a cameo of Wonder Woman in there. It's pretty good, though. And then the next one was out of Spain, which I thought this one was very interesting. It basically highlighted Batman being on vacation in Spain. So literally, I think one of these short stories is about 5 or 6 pages as well. It basically, so let's just say it's 6 pages. For 5 of those pages, all it does is show Batman being on vacation and enjoying his, his time off away from Gotham, and it kind of you never see Batman talk or anything. It just has it basically is playing a voicemail that Batman is listening to from Alfred while he's on vacation, while it's showing all these pictures of Batman doing vacation-y things, and then it ends up with Batman donning his suit and fighting crime in Spain, kind of in the last thing there. So it was really interesting, though, to see the way this artist and this team portrayed Batman on vacation. I liked it. I liked it a lot. Then out of Italy, there's a god, I guess, called Janus or Enos or something like that. It's the guy, the guy that has the face on the back and the front, and it kind of spins and it has different emotions when it spins. You know that god?
Oh yeah, he's the mayor from Nightmare Before Christmas. I remember.
yeah. But it's like this Greek thing, and there's this villain in Italy that he's fighting, and this story is interesting because it actually tells the story backwards. You don't actually realize that until you get to the end. That actually the end of the story is kind of the beginning, or it's kind of like what's that crazy movie we loved back in the 90s?
Memento.
Yeah, Memento. It's kind of like that, where
that popped right in my head saying that.
What's that? Say again.
That popped right in my head when you were saying that.
Yeah, exactly. That's the one I always go to as well, and it's told backwards, but it can't be told forward. It can only make sense. It's really unique story. I liked it a lot as well, out of Italy. And then the next story was German, and here we go. Some cool, and this is the kind of content I was actually looking for, learning some, different cultural perspectives about, good and evil, bad guys, good guys, superheroes, whatever. Have you ever heard of Percht? Percht? Perched? I don't know how to pronounce it, but
no.
You ever heard of that?
No.
So this is apparently a famous demon in Germany. It kind of looks, it's like a pagan god, and there's villains in Germany dressed as these pagan gods, and Joker shows up in Germany. It actually, I liked it because it has a lot of cross-cultural references, but I didn't like it because this story actually gets the most political of all the stories. It's really heavy in climate change. They even take some shots at people that other people might like and stuff, politically. So I didn't really care for this story in general because it does get political. But overall, the bad guys are these Percht character that I guess probably most Germans would know. Joker gets involved to help them. So then, of course, Batman gets involved to get Joker back to Gotham City. So overall, it's a pretty cool story. Like I said, I liked it the least because of the political stuff in it. I just like to keep that stuff separate. Then the next one was out of the Czech Republic, and this had a character called Kim Koval in it. Koval is the last name. Are you guys familiar with that?
No.
So I never heard of this guy before. He was a very interesting villain, though. What he does is he convinces people to, he can pretty much control people with his mind, and he convinces them to include him in their will, and then convinces them to kill themselves. So talk about a ruthless villain. But anyway, then he becomes bigger. This kind of took me back to Batman Forever, Batman Forever, where then a villain tries to get him to hook him up to a bunch of other telekinesis people to control a big crowd to make a lot of people do this all over the world, that kind of thing. So of course Batman has to stop it. I thought it was a really interesting story. I liked it a lot. I don't know whether this Kim Koval's anywhere else or maybe this is a key issue. I don't know. But what I did also think was interesting about this is there was another reference in this to a children's superhero out of the Czech Republic called Bobik, Bobik. Are you guys familiar with that?
I don't think so.
It's a superhero dog out of the Czech Republic, which I thought was very interesting. these kids are watching Batman and they're like, who's that? And it's like, I don't know who that is. But he's not as tough as Bobbick. And I'm like, okay, who's Bobbick? I got to look it up, But by the end of the story, they're actually saying, okay, he is as tough as Bobbick. It's kind of funny. I liked it. So this is the kind of thing, like I said, I was kind of getting this book for. I wanted really to get this, perspective that I wouldn't know unless I was reading a book like this, And then the last one I read is out of Russia. And this one was a very interesting story in the way that society and media look at and represent Batman. And it kind of, this is told kind of in the way like Mouse, where it's a guy recalling his past and he's an old man now. It's kind of told, this story is told the same way as that. And he talks about how when he was a boy, his grandfather gave him, and this is like Batman 66 times. His grandfather gave him a Batman pen, and then that Batman pen became his life to him, and not only him but his friends. And that's how he started to become an artist, because he fell in love with Batman because of this pen, and it was a pen, so he just wanted to be using the Batman pen. And it kind of follows through history, the different takes of Batman, how half the time, or I should say more than half the time, most of the time he's, represented as a superhero, but then times people take a shot at him that, the only reason these other heroes exist or these villains exist is because Batman is the way he is. He messes with people's lives, all attacking Batman and such. And then at the end of the story, he's an old man and he wants to pass his pen down to his granddaughter, to have her experience Batman the way he experienced him. But then she already has a pen, and he decides not to give her his pen because her pen looks like Wonder Woman, which makes him happy. So it was a very interesting way the story was told, and thought-provoking about Batman's purpose to different people, and all that kind of thing.
Do you happen to know what the title of that story was by any chance?
The one out of Russia?
Yeah.
Well, okay. Yes, I do, because it's right here. But what's making you ask that in general?
No. I kind of screwed my own joke up because I was thinking maybe it was out of Germany, and this joke would have made more sense.
Okay.
You compared it to another work, a comic book work.
Okay. Did you want to try to deliver the joke anyway?
I thought it might be Deflator Mouse.
Oh no.
It's Russian, so it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Dang, so close.
So this crickets would have been better there, Karen. No one likes the alarm clock, okay? It's called My Batman, incidentally. Not that that's
I still like my title better, even though it's wrong.
Yeah.
So all of those were in issue 1.
No, there is just an issue 1. This is one hardcover book collecting 14 short stories.
Okay. So you read the hardcover. Okay.
It's only a hardcover.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking that we talked about it in this. I think I might have put this in your head.
Yeah.
That we talk about this being individual issues, but I don't think it is. I think this is it. This is a hardcover. I've got it right here with me. I think this is it. I don't think it was ever anything. I mean, maybe it is after the fact. Maybe they put a soft cover trade out after. But when this originally came out, this is all there was.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, it's 14 short stories. I read the first 7. I'll read the next 7 for the next time I do a review. But that's it. So far, I enjoyed a far majority of this, and I strongly recommend it. It's definitely a must-have for Batman fans, in my opinion, but definitely get it for everybody else. So. All right?
Yeah. Sounds good.
What?
I want to read it.
What do you say, Mike?
It sounds good. I want to read it.
Okay, yeah, definitely, yeah, okay. All right, Pat, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, what you got?
Angry thing.
Well, pay close attention to that. So, my intention was to get caught up on Jonna in the Impossible Monsters by Chris Samney and his wife. I read 9 and 10 and found that I did not order number 11. So I have to track down number 11 before I finish the series and give you my thoughts on that. So that's kind of scrambling. That was my initial thing I wanted to read. No pun intended. So I wanted to get caught up on this. The next big thing was a limited series that came out. I think it started last year, maybe even the year before. It ended in 2022. I did not. I can't. I thought I reviewed this, maybe issue 1 and 2, but I didn't have time to track down if I did or didn't. Looking through the archives, but I read 3, 4, 5, and 6 to wrap up this limited series. It's by Walter Mosley. If I didn't mention it in my possibly non-existent review from before, he's a novelist. He's a crime fiction novelist, and the art is by Tom Riley, who he gives you those Chris Samney vibes and maybe a little bit Evan Shaner, but he's good. I don't think I was super familiar with him until this limited series, but I think he's a good thing artist, and I'm kind of picky about that. But thinking back to issues 1 and 2, I did not like them. I thought he wasn't getting the characters right, and they seemed out of character. They weren't doing things you would expect them to do. And I kind of almost given up on this series, and I was doing some sorting this week, and I came across this, and I'm like, I should finish this. And so when I couldn't finish Jonah, I jumped to this. And I have to say, I'm glad I gave it another shot and finished it off. It's you once you start realizing what was going on in here, there was a lot of acting out of character, and it seemed weird at the time. But once you've got through the series, got to issue 3 and 4, things started making a little more sense. And that's also why I would recommend that this reads better, maybe in a collected form, in a trade paperback. Going week to week, I kind of, like I said, I kind of gave up on it. But reading it as a whole, and as a matter of fact, after I got through with number 6, I wanted to go back and reread number 1 and 2, but I don't know where they're at. But I'm gonna do that because I turned around so much on the series. I do want to go back and read 1 and 2, which is not like me. I guess I would say. The gist of the series is it's kind of weird too. It's not your normal story, but you come to find out that. So you remember how Thanos was always so infatuated with death, the character in the Marvel universe. He went.
Yeah.
Well, here roles are reversed. Death is looking to capture the Thing and make him her consort. It's kind of strange. I don't think they really go into the whys of why she was so infatuated, but that's
what I was going to ask. Is it physical or visual or what?
Well, funny you should mention it, because there's one scene in here I'm like, what?
Oh, really? Okay.
Again, I chalked that up to this coming from this guy from outside of comics coming in. He gets the Thing as a character in a lot of ways, but in other ways, I'm not so sure. But he, because it was death, the character in the Marvel universe, you start to realize that a lot of these things were machinations of death. She was creating characters out of thin air to mess with the Thing and Alicia. Yeah, so that kind of really, when you get into it, explains away a lot of the things that were going on.
Gotcha. Love it. Love it. I love when that happens. Yeah.
And there's also a subplot once you get into these later issues, as you can see by the covers, that Dr. Doom is involved, which was kind of interesting.
Did he create a love triangle?
No, he's not involved in the love triangle.
Okay.
But he's the throughway to getting Doctor Doom in the story is he wants, Doctor Doom's always, in many stories you see him trying to bring his mother back from the dead, because she was taken by Mephisto, or and so he's always trying to right that wrong, even though Doctor Doom is, who Doctor Doom is. That's the one thing he regrets is his death of his mother. So that sort of gets involved in here too. I'm not sure that was needed. I don't know. I'm going to come back and give sort of like maybe another overview of this when I go back and read number 1 and number 2, because I think it'll make the whole book stronger. And saying that, I will say, get it if you get it as in a collected edition, or you go out and buy all the issues and just read them one after another. I like I said, I've turned myself around on this. My opinion of this, I would have, after those first 2 issues, I was probably leaning towards forget it, but I swing back around to get it now, especially if you're going to read it all in one shot, because it definitely, I think, will read a lot better. It almost would have done better, I think, is just straight out original graphic novel. Just put it all out at one time.
Okay.
The writing, you'll a lot of times I have a beef with outside writers coming into comics because they have a certain way. I think they use too much dialogue. They try to explain everything, and that's what the artwork is for in comics. The artwork's supposed to carry a lot of the storytelling. That doesn't happen, and that doesn't happen here. I'll give him credit for that. He doesn't bog things down with a lot of extra dialogue that's unnecessary. He seems to kind of get how comics are supposed to be made, and it works well. And the other plus is the artwork by Tom Riley. I really, I appreciate his artwork here. I think it was, it may not be everybody's taste. It's a little more, sort of geared toward that cartoony style or more simplistic style. But if you like Chris Samney, Evan Doc Shaner, I think you'd like it. But yeah, I'm back in the Get It camp, and if you want to shoot us back up to our faces there, I kind of liked it enough that yeah, there you go.
That's awesome.
Well, that's good. That's going to be a much more pleasant transition for him.
But that one, it's like he's angry, but he's trying not to look angry. That's
nice.
That is cool.
Very nice. All right. I may have missed it at the beginning because I stepped away to get a drink for a minute. Pat, what year did that thing come out?
I think it started in 2021, and it wrapped up. It wrapped up last year.
Okay. All right, Mike, what you got?
All right. Well, last week I reviewed Chroma number 1, and this week I have Chroma number 2. And I did make a mistake last week. I said number 4 was coming out sometime in April. That was bogus info. I did read that, but I've since found out it's February 15th, issue number 4. So there isn't that long a wait.
Okay.
But
did you guys notice my gaffe last week too about Chroma?
What's that?
Did you guys notice because later when I was editing, I called it Cora twice.
Yeah. I caught one of them. I don't remember the second one.
Yeah. Sorry about it.
But my review for number 3 is going to be a while because it came out, or it comes out January 18th, which was last week? 2 weeks ago. But I haven't received my copy yet. I won't be getting that for a few weeks. But anyway, if you haven't read issue number 1, kind of check out for a minute because slight spoilers, not a whole lot. This one, so some things happen at the end of issue 1. I won't spoil those, but Chroma tries to escape the Maccabi and his men. They're chasing her, and she is flung out of Pale City, and So she's on this rope, and it's connected, and then the one end gets cut. So she swings out, and she swings out over the wall. It's very, fantastical. It's hard to believe, but so is the rest of it.
Yeah, I was going to say, how's that work? Okay.
Yeah. So it throws her all the way out, outside of the city, and she lands in the forest. And I think, once again, the colors are amazing in this. The artwork is great. So she's outside the city now, and she's pursued by the Makavi's men. He sends a bunch out there to bring her back. He wants her brought back alive. And so while she's out there, she is actually rescued by a character named Saristo, and he recognizes her right away because he was actually exiled from Pale City. While he was in there, he was a magister, and he taught about the king and about Chroma and her story as the monster. You kind of get what magister means. I feel like I'm pretty smart, but I had never heard magister before. It's a title or form of address given to scholars, especially those qualified to teach in medieval university. So there you go. And then, it's kind of funny because by the end of it, he takes her back to his nest. He's kind of dressed as a bird there. And we end up ourselves getting a lesson on the demons and the colors and, about the whole history of everything, of what's going on. And of course, there's another great cliffhanger, just like in issue 1. Something that I didn't find out until earlier this week. There was an issue of Skybound X, number 25, has a short story in here. So I read that as well. And in that, basically, it's just they're trying
Hold
to...
on. Is this short story in Skybound X referencing Chroma?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this book is an anthology. There are, I think, like 4 stories in each issue of Skybound X.
Okay, and one of them in issue 25 is referencing Chroma as well.
Is actually Chroma. It's like a 5 or 6 page.
Do you need it to appreciate the ongoing? No,
you don't need it. Basically, in this, they're just telling about they're trying to expand the walls of Pale City, and we actually see the brutality of the Makavi because you kind of see he's kind of a bad guy, but these pages really show how awful a person he is, and he's the leader of Pale City.
Okay.
Now this is a variant cover for that, which I didn't know. I have the Ryan Otley cover, which is
that one was in our pick 3 as well. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's such a great cover. And then just in looking, I'm like, oh wow, there was actually a Chroma variant cover. So now I'm going to search this out for myself.
Yeah, I would definitely want that if I were you as well. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool too.
Yeah, and this is that's from that Skybound X. That's such a great panel. Just to show you more of the artwork. And,
oh, nice.
Those are the demons that are outside. And you find out more about the colors. Like, see, that one's red. You find out they actually change colors in their throats, and they're for different things. But you find that out when Saristo gives you kind of your lesson at the end of the show.
Oh, Karen says you're done.
Yeah, this is like an award show. In case you're wondering, Skybound X I think it was 5 issues, issue 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then it came out with issue 25. And we have to go all the way back to 1995 when Image did their Images of Tomorrow with Stormwatch, Bloodstrike, Brigade, and Supreme. They had I can't remember what issue it was. Like, let's say it was issue 5. The next issue was issue 25, and they showed you where that character was supposed to be when the series got to issue 25, and then after the next month it went back to the next number in sequence. And I think I don't think any of the books ever made it to issue 25 before. But anyway, this was Kirkman's kind of homage to the Images of Tomorrow from 1995, which I thought was pretty funny.
Ah.
So this is a must get. I think it's beautifully drawn and colored, and the story is fantastic. Great cliffhangers at the end of each issue. They make you want to read the next one.
So I'm definitely gonna get it.
Are we to assume that Chroma is not really a humanoid because the Magister is like a beast, or I don't know.
No, the Magister's not. He's a human. We just don't know her background and her where she came from. We just know that she was sent to Pale City by the king, try to kind of infiltrate because it was such a stalemate.
I thought that was the Magister, that dragony looking creature that she was talking to there in your preview. That's the only reason I said that.
Oh, with the let me see if I can find that image. Nope.
Yeah. Oh, there, I see him.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, okay. I missed him the first time.
Yeah, that's Saristo. He is actually he's in a bird costume. I didn't want to reveal what he actually looks like. But that's just kind of like a really cool bird costume. He said if he can't hide himself, then just blend in. And everything's very colorful out there. So
okay. Yeah, I see him in the first panel too. I missed him in the first panel as well.
Yeah.
Because he's black and white like she is.
So
interesting. I'm gonna pick this up probably in collected form, because then it'll have that Skybound number 25 in there, I'm sure. And
yeah, I bet you that'll be in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's well worth getting it. I would probably I would definitely get it in trade, because these things are $8 a piece.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be, I think it's just 4 issues. And once again, it's Lorenzo De Felici is doing the writing and the art. He did the art, I think, for what was the other Kirkman one? I can't remember it now.
I was going to ask you, in that one picture, it seems like the chrome is like the size of an alligator, but in the other review you gave, I thought it showed pictures of him like real big. Like, what size is he? Do you know, or does he change?
Chroma is the little girl right there.
Oh, what's the creature's name?
Oh, the bird. There's the characters are the Makavi is just, he's just the leader. I know it's like
the lizard creature.
What's the what?
The lizard creature.
Oh, those are just called demons. They refer to those as the demons that are outside surrounding, and they're giant. Yeah, they're huge.
Okay, hold on. I'm a little confused. Let me clarify this real quick. Okay. I thought in your story so far, they release this creature every 4 moons or something like that, right?
Yeah, every 10 moons.
Every 10 moons. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them, though? I thought there was one.
No. It's basically, this is the spoiler, Chroma is the creature, but you think in the first issue, before you get to the end, you think she's actually a monster, but she's just a little girl inside, like a kind of a costume type of
okay.
I feel like
all right, so I shouldn't feel ashamed for being confused right now, because
right, and I'm leaving things out because I don't want to give everything away.
Yeah.
It seems to me that I'm confusing things more than I
am. Okay. Sorry. Okay.
There's one reason I'm a landscaper and not a book reviewer.
Well, that's okay. I thought I was tracking, and then I got lost, and so now I understand why I got lost. So, okay, got it. Sweet. Okay.
So go ahead.
But the fact that you're recommending it shows that it's apparently told well in a way that's understandable when you read it. Got it.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can follow everything easily. I just kind of muddy up the waters.
Sorry about it.
So if you want to find out what really happens, go and read it.
I didn't intentionally follow up Patrick's questions there with my wreck of a question there to cover up Patrick's questions, but man, I sure accomplished that. Man, I'm sorry about it. Yeah. I don't know. That makes me actually want to get it more though, since it's kind of seems tricky like that. I love those kind of stories. That's for sure. As long as they nail the landing.
Yeah, I agree. I think, and so far I have nothing, no reason to believe that he won't.
Okay, man, that I'm gonna say it for probably a few more times. I love that clapping ending, Karen. Love it. Good job. All right. That leads us into the next amazing segment that I'm really excited to see what the heck we're talking about from my show opening tease. Are you ready?
I'm worried about my wallet.
Yeah, apparently. You ready, Pat?
I'm ready.
Okay. Nice. The other one made me scared. This one makes me happy as soon as I see it. Nice. That is a happy thing.
There you go. Okay, so remember this guy? We talked about him before.
I do remember that trash motorcycle. Yes.
Yeah. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because I want to talk about things that don't exist.
Wait, what?
You'll see. Approximately 2 years before this was announced, there's a Facebook group for this for these Marvel Legends retro 3 3/4 figures, and there's a gentleman by the name of Matt Koffenberg. He works in the toy industry, but he does not work on this line. But early in the days of this retro line, he started doing mock-ups, and this was his design, 2 years before the original, this Ghost Rider actually made it into production. He started, with these mock-ups and digital renders of what he hoped to see in the line. This is what we actually got in the end. You can be the judge of which you think you would prefer, but he's continued. He's been a very ardent supporter of this line, and he does mock-ups all the time. And this past week, he showed a lot of what he hopes to see from the line, and that is a Secret Wars, subline. And he basically made these 2-packs up. Now, the Thor is basically the existing Thor, and then he created the Absorbing Man from scratch. You see at the bottom there, not a real product. His stuff looks so good, you think it's real.
I would be fooled. Yes.
So he did a lot of these 2-packs for Secret Wars, and then he capped it off because he says he has to get back to real work. He made a faux Christmas catalog page for the Secret Wars line, which included this Galactus carrying case, which is awesome.
That is awesome.
Because not only does it work like the old Star Wars carrying cases, it can actually work as Galactus in scale with the rest of the figures. So it's a brilliant idea.
We'll see
if Hasbro takes his ideas and makes them like the Ghost Rider figure. And there you can also see all his 2-packs, scattered about there, and many new figures, many variants on existing figures, but they're all very cool. This stuff is not really on your horizon, but I thought it was too cool. I wanted to show it.
That is very cool.
In the bottom, he says, "Not really Kenner."
Yeah.
You know, so what we can pray for is, like we talked about before, that this guy actually gets a job with them. So
Yeah.
they actually use his genius ideas, because that is genius. You could have Amigo carrying, or not Amigo, but Ego.
Yeah.
You know, like a huge Ego carrying case, which would be then usable as a toy to play. Yeah, that'd be awesome. That's genius.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we talk about things that we talked about on the horizon a long time ago, and we're kind of like scratching our heads over, were the starting lineup figures at $50.
Yeah.
Well, not anymore. I don't know whether this is just for the All-Star weekend or. Sorry, hold on one second.
Yeah, it's they put that $50 price tag out there, and you're shocked, and then they drop it down to 30, and you're like, see there, how about this? $20. You go, oh wow, now I'm getting a deal. But,
well, like you said, he doesn't know whether it's a all-star
right
special or if it's going to stay this way, right? Is that what you're saying, Patrick? You don't know?
Yeah, but the only thing I would say about that is I think some of these are new. I actually saw them listed as pre-orders at $29.99. So I don't know. I think they finally just realized that they weren't getting enough sales at the $50 price point. I mean, even 29 is higher than the typical 6-inch Hasbro figure. So
yeah,
even the players can't afford to buy their own figure.
They sure look good, though. That's for sure. Yep.
Yeah, a lot of people. There's a tremendous, customizing. Just like any figure line, people do all kinds of customizing, and people wanted these just for their parts, to make new figures out of, or to do civilian figures, or get their shoes. So some people are saying, at 29, they might bite the bullet and get a few for customizing, because there's such a big customizing group out there.
I didn't know that. Okay, interesting. Okay.
What's also cool about these is, all of these players are different heights, and it looks like they've kind of got the scale down.
Yeah.
For all the heights for each individual person. I think it's great. It's
yeah. So moving on to things that are on the horizon. Hasbro announced the Squadron Supreme 2-pack, Hyperion and Dr. Spectrum.
Nice. I actually like that. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, sort of,
I don't know if his face really goes out. I mean, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Maybe it's his hair.
On Hyperion, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they said where this is going to be found. I don't know if they didn't mention it was an exclusive, so and it's not up for pre-order yet. They're just kind of giving you previews of it. And the same week, they also announced Yondu from the Guardians of the Galaxy. He is a Target exclusive. They're slowly but surely doing those original Guardians of the Galaxy figures. People, casual fans today would not know anything about where they're digging these Guardians up. They don't recognize them from the movies, but these are the Guardians of the Galaxy, in the 70s and 80s. So,
well, I will say that I was familiar with the appearance of the Guardians of the Galaxy from the 70s and 80s, but I'm not familiar with abilities. Are you?
Did you say abilities?
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of. I mean,
does it make sense for Yondu to have a bow and arrow in this?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it does, but so he couldn't do the whole thing okay.
No.
This is funny because we were playing Snap and they have a variant for a Yondu card that's got Yondu with a bow and arrow. And I'm like, that's stupid. Why would we ever need a bow and arrow? But I wasn't familiar with old school Guardians Yondu having a bow and arrow. So now it makes sense. Cool. Good job, Snap.
Yeah, I think the whistling was all MCU. I could be wrong about that because I was never a gigantic Guardians of the Galaxy fan growing up. But as far I know, he had a bow and arrow. I think he was sort of like a cosmic archer type guy.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
I
apologize for thinking and saying in my small circle bad things about a Marvel Snap variant. I apologize to Marvel Snap. Mike, were you in that group when I think I posted that too? I was like, this is the stupidest thing ever.
Yeah, I don't recall seeing it though, because a lot of the Marvel Snap stuff, I still haven't played again for probably since Christmas, so it's been a bit.
How about you? How's Snap going for you, Pat? You still occasionally?
I think I think the last time I talked, I was doing pretty good and kicking butt all the time.
Yeah.
I have not had a good track record since then. I've been getting my butt kicked. So
Well, I finally made it to the 80s again, but I'm having a hard time getting out of the 80s. That's for sure.
I should join. I need to join your group.
Yeah, actually, I'll do that. Yeah, it's just a text group. It was just me and Ty and Mike in a text group. I'll put you in there. Yeah, because Mike's definitely checked out as of now, and Ty is intermittent. So it'd be nice to have someone to respond to my text at least.
I'll get back.
Because I'm like all bragging. I just finally got the leader. I just finally got I can't remember who my latest one was, but I was all proud and I sent it. No one said anything. I was like, thanks guys, appreciate it. Anyway, back to the Horizon. Sorry.
Yeah, so I was gonna give you the tease of even more McFarlane, but I didn't want to go that way because he only had one thing that came out this week that previewed was this Robin figure, which you look at I cropped this picture on purpose.
Okay.
And even cropping it, you might still notice some things. I think the overall sculpt is pretty good for a younger Robin.
Uh-huh.
But here's the problem I have with the full shot reveal. Man, look at all those ugly joints on that figure.
Jeez.
Yeah, it is.
Even the wrist. I hate those wrists.
He looks like Pinocchio.
Yeah, that's just out with since it's flesh tone, flesh color.
That
Is
doesn't
that why
help.
it's standing out so much? Okay.
I'm sure that hurts a little bit, yeah. But they've been. I don't know about McFarlane because I'm not such a big. I really don't buy McFarlane's product, but I don't know. Hasbro always talks about the pinless joints. When you have the pinless joints, you don't see what you're seeing there in the elbows and knees. It just makes it really stands out,
Yeah.
And the wrist articulation looks like something from, I don't know, 1980s almost. I don't know. I don't get it. But go ahead.
The cape looks awesome.
I think his head and torso look great too.
Yeah.
What scale is this? Can we turn it? Is there any way we can turn this picture right side up?
Well, we can go back to the crop shot.
Yeah. What size is this?
He's the multiverse scale, and he which is around 7 inches. And he is also, by the way, a McFarlane Toy Store exclusive.
Okay.
Yeah. So then another reveal this week that was sort of a surprise. We talked about the Shogun Warriors before.
Yeah.
Kevin had Godzilla when we were young. I did not have Rodan, however. My cousin did. He was super rare.
I don't think I've ever seen him. Yeah.
I always thought he was super goofy looking.
Is this a good representation of what he looked like?
Yes and no. About as much as Godzilla, the Shogun Warrior Godzilla looks like Godzilla, I guess I should say.
Okay, maybe that's
But I was always kind of jealous of my cousin having it because I never even saw the guy in the stores. I don't remember ever seeing him. My cousin was the only person that had him. You can see that the impressive thing about him. He had a 38-inch wingspan. Shogun Warriors were about 2 feet tall. He was about over 2 feet wide. With that big wingspan. That was his selling feature, I guess. Excuse me. So he's super expensive. You go on eBay, we're talking, Godzilla is in, loose complete. We're talking, usually around 300, 400. Rodan is 800, 900 range.
Wow.
You find them in a box. I found one eBay auction that ended with in complete inbox Rodan, $2,400.
Jeez.
So last year before, Super 7 put out the Shogun figure version of Godzilla. Actually, this guy right here.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I'm all backwards on my camera.
Yeah.
Nice.
The little tongue action. Their reaction scale figures, that's right there in the box. They're in their reaction line. Mine was I think a San Diego exclusive. He came in a replica box. It looks just like the boxes that the Shogun Warriors came in, and that's why I'm a little, it's a little bit of a head scratcher that they released them to the Rodan figure is in a bubble. He's in a blister pack. I kind of wish they would have done a box. They still might. Come convention season, we might see him as an exclusive, convention exclusive in the box. They've released Godzilla like this too. I did not pick him up in that manner in a blister. They've released like 4 or 5 different versions at this point of the Godzilla figure. I wouldn't be surprised if they do the same thing for Rodan. But yeah, he was. They had hinted at possibly more Shogun Warrior, Shogun figures, and the reaction scale would be coming out in the future. But they just kind of dropped this last week. He's already available to order. In fact, I think some people already have him. He's 25 retail, which is like $5 more than a reaction figure. I guess you're paying for that mighty wingspan. I don't know. If you squint, it's almost, you guys might be able to see it at full screen, but I think it says like 7.5-inch wingspan.
Yeah.
They're trying to, they're kind of trying to sort of do the same thing the older Rodan was doing on his box artwork.
If you could go back to that old ad for right there. Are you going to talk about Gregory?
I'm not talking about Gregory.
Well, I looked him up. He's $600 in the box.
Yeah. He had I think he had like the blood flowing. You could like squeeze him and you could see the blood flowing through him.
Yep, blood flows. Anyway, I just thought, I think it's a funny name. I'd never seen him before. Gregory.
Yeah.
I don't remember him from the movies either. Not that I'm a big Godzilla fan.
No. He's not part of the Shogun Warriors line. I think he just was on the same catalog page.
Oh, okay.
And while I'm at it, I stole this picture from Plaid Stallions, and if you like this sort of thing, like they have a huge archive of old scans of Christmas catalogs and things like that. They do a great job of preserving things like that, and it's always neat to see these old Christmas catalog ads.
Oh, yeah. Back in the day, that was the thing. Come October, November, going through Christmas catalogs was.
Oh yeah, for sure.
A great pastime for so long. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was it was usually the kid, like my duty to get the mail, and when that Christmas catalog was in the mailbox, man, good time.
Awesome. Yep.
Okay,
so share and take turns.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
So since we're in the slow period, I had to resort to Funko this week. They're the what do they call them? Their comic cover collection. Kevin, I think you've mentioned these. A couple of them. Do you have any of these?
I do. I have Batman and Boba Fett, and I think Wonder Woman. Yeah, I think actually Ayla was given a Wonder Woman, and she didn't know where to put it, so she gave it to me.
Do you keep them in the box?
Yes. Uh-huh.
I don't. I'm just curious what they're like out of the box, or if you're just better off keeping them in the box.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I figured you open this up, it's just going to be a normal pop. The cool part that makes it cool is because the back of the box is obviously just the cover art on the box. Whatever.
It's not a separate piece that kind of stands on a stand behind them or anything.
I haven't even I haven't
Yeah.
opened it, so I don't know. Yeah.
I thought that it was kind of like at his feet. There's a stand that attaches to that backdrop, and that's just I've never actually picked one up and looked at it. That's what I thought.
Yeah, I haven't either.
So, and this is the biggest reason I assume what we're saying or what I'm saying, because Ayla has the Black Parade.
My Chemical Romance.
Yeah, My Chemical Romance album cover pop with the skeleton, maitre d' or whatever that's called. What's that guy called? The person that is in front of the marching band.
The conductor. Band
On
leader.
the cover of the Black Parade album. Yeah, that skeleton guy. So he's a pop in front of that album,
right?
In the stand, right? Karen put this up. So Lost at the Bostic. Hey, what's up? Thanks for being here. He says he had all these as a kid. Mattel would later use the Gregori's blood pumping technique on the Master of the Universe figure Mosquitor.
Yeah.
Interesting info. I think I remember that as well. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. You had all of those, though. You still, do you still have the Rodan?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the key question. Did you used to have those Lost at the Boston, or do you still have them now?
Yeah.
Anyway, so talking about that Black Parade. So we did open that one, though, because I wanted to see what was up. And the album cover that's in the back of the box, which is similar to these comic book covers in the back of the box, was just the box. Like, it wasn't something I could take out separately. So I'm assuming these would be the same, but I don't actually know because I didn't open one of these.
Okay.
Well, you need to open one.
Tyler's got more of these than me. I think he's got a couple Venom and Moon Knight or something, so yeah.
I've seen pictures, but I haven't seen in store the Elektra, Elektra Daredevil one.
Oh,
no, I haven't seen that either. Are you? So obviously you're not a pop collector, but you have pops, Pat, right?
Yeah.
Are you an out of the box or into the box person?
Both.
Okay, I'm a combo of that as well, actually. But if I actually there's reasons I don't take some of them out of the box, but if I have a preference, I'd say I prefer mine out of the box, right?
Yeah.
So that's what makes your question interesting about this, because, and I probably will actually go do this because to answer your question, because if that comic book could stand up behind him somehow, I would prefer him out of the box as well.
Yeah.
Or you know what? I could just have my actual comic. I have this comic, of course.
Sure, yeah.
I could put it in one of those, they have those faux CGC cases that you can just slab them in and put it on a stand behind him, and I could make my own thing.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to buy these things, yeah.
Yeah, right. Although I think that is an exclusive pop to this. The only way to get that pop.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because of the way his right hand is held up.
Yeah, lost it. I only have the foot of my Godzilla.
Yeah, we're all the same, Lost. We're mine. You don't want to hear my story. I had mine for the longest time too, but
you can go back in previous episodes and track it down. It's on record somewhere in our podcast. But so these were shown because this was the week of the Funko Fair, and these two I threw them up there just because these are two pretty iconic covers. And in fact, this Wolverine cover came up as a homage cover a few weeks ago by Adi Granov. Here's the original. The other one is the Avengers cover with Ant-Man on Hawkeye's arrow by Ed Hannigan.
He's actually on his arrow too.
Yeah.
Pops was great.
Yeah, pretty cool.
That is very cool. Oh man. Yeah, I don't even want this because of the cover combination. I mean, I love that cover, but yeah, I just want that pop out of it. That'd be awesome. Oh, I think Ava would love that too. That's
so cool. I might be on the hook for this one.
Yeah.
And then finally, from the Funko Fair, to tie into our tease, and maybe it'll make sense, maybe it won't.
Okay.
They announced Gilligan's Island Pops.
Okay.
Everybody. I'm not sure about the choice on Ginger's outfit there.
Yeah.
That's not her usual, but I guarantee you they'll have a variant somewhere that will get the more evening gown version, I assume.
Yeah. I love Gilligan's Island. Holy cow!
Yeah, those are really great, actually.
If I was a pop collector, I'd get those
Yeah.
to put them beside.
I think you showed up with a new pop at Exceller last week, didn't you, Mike?
Oh yeah, Black Orchid.
Yeah.
Exclusive.
Mike walks in, he's like, I don't collect pops, but check out this new pop I got.
Yeah, it was a great Black Orchid from Walmart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I most likely will at least end up with the Gilligan because that's straight out of the the intro.
Yeah.
All his gear. And I think it looks pretty good. But then if you have the Gilligan, you kind of have to have the Skipper. I wish the Skipper. I hope they make a Skipper variant where he's whacking Gilligan with his hat or something like that.
Yeah, right. I like the Professor and Mary Ann too, though. Yeah, I mean that's.
Well, just like any other Funko line, they kind of know what they're doing. They think if you're in for one, you're in for the whole line. So.
So this is just pictures of the line. These are going to be separate, though, right?
Yeah. As far as I know, yeah, they're individual.
Nice. Okay, explain your teaser reference then. I don't get it.
It was a take on the Gilligan's Island theme song. It said the collectible world is getting rough. Your wallet may get tossed.
Okay. I'm not as much of a connoisseur as the theme song to have caught that. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't. Like I said earlier, I never pick up on foreshadowing, so I don't get hints like that.
Well, it's definitely a great line, even if the teaser failed. So glad you shared it.
Well, the teaser didn't fail.
We failed. Yeah.
Just for the horizon.
Hey, Karen, just to polish this up a little bit for the future. So, like typically I'll be like, so that is that all you got? But yeah, Pat with him, he's usually good with that's it for the horizon. So that would be the appropriate clapping time. So
that's it for the horizon.
All right, we'll clean that up. I was talking about at the beginning of the show. We're gonna get our special effects on point here soon, very soon. By the time Mike gets back from Disney, that's our timeline for everything now. By the time Mike gets back from Disney, hey Mike, we expect to have a segment, unique topic of the week, Mike's adventure in Disney.
Okay.
Because I tell you what, if I don't see a bunch of Star Wars stuff, I'm gonna be sad. Don't make me cry when you get back, okay? Because that's the only reason I want to go to Disney is because of the what's it called, the Star Wars. What's it called?
I don't know what it's called, but it's there.
Yeah, the whole Star Wars. They got a whole area that's nothing but Star Wars now. So I want to see you enjoying the heck out of that. All the pics, all videos. We'll do a special 2-hour show of Mike's Disney adventure. No pressure. Make it happen. All right, Karen, that needed crickets right there, apparently. Or not. Okay. All right, let's wrap up this train wreck.
Yeah, studio audience.
Thanks, Karen. All right. So 1-1 to go. And man, I'm super ready for this. Thank God I'm first. The Last of Us is as great as From. Check them both out.
Chroma is not as confusing as it seems.
Perfect. Thank you. None of us collect pops. Well, maybe Patrick does.
True.
It's awesome how Batman is appreciated around the globe in different ways. Check it out.
You guys need to brush up on your 60s sitcom theme songs.
Willow was made for people who are not fans of Willow.
Exactly. Godzilla is the only Shogun warrior that apparently matters.
Or survives.
Yeah.
Yeah, survives would have been better because, yeah, apparently Rodan matters.
Mystery sounds are weird.
This is that one guy laughing at the end, like Michael Scott. So here's my list: prisoners, axe-wielding hitchhikers, inheritance, and From all need to be watched. It's on my list.
That was awesome. Chroma is not to be confused with Korra.
My last one is Mike is quick at Facebook because he got those cover combats posted and people are already voting. So get your votes in, everyone.
Nice job, Mike.
Yep. Thank you. I meant to say that. I didn't have any more.
I've got two more. Clapping is better early than never. And lastly,
it's also better late than never.
right. Any clapping is better than never. Yeah, right. And then lastly, to cap the show here, like we did at the beginning, next week, the recap will become the show recap. We are again bidding farewell to Johnny in the top and the bottom. Completely agreed. Lost it to Bostic. That's pretty much for. We got to chime in. Lost it to Bostic says, "Last of Us is excellent so far. Willow is garbage." That hits my review from the beginning of the show on the head. So I'm glad we're like mind. But like I was saying, we are bidding adieu with Johnny being in the intro and the recap. This is not any diss at Johnny. He's still going to be in all the other ones. We're just going to kind of streamline and take the questions out of who's this Johnny guy, since we've had him on for a year, and the joke is run its course. So stay tuned for that starting next week. So that'll do it for the recap.
One final.
Okay. Sorry, Mike. Let me go through. No, Karen, cut it, Karen, cut it.
As soon as we're done here, we're probably going to take a couple-minute break and then come back with another live video revealing an unboxing of our most recent CBCS submissions.
Yep, stay tuned for literally, what do you think, maybe 5 minutes after we end this show, we're going to do another short unboxing of CGCs, or
CBCS.
actually, I'm sorry.
We're a CBCS kind of group.
CBCS, that stuff that we'll be offering for sale, right?
Yeah.
All right, so to completely wrap it up, sorry about that. No, and then I completely lost it there. Thank you. All right. Please like, comment on this video, as well as subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications. Got a couple new people commenting today and apparently, obviously viewing. Really appreciate being here. So please subscribe to Comics and Collectibles in the Crawl Space on Anchor by Spotify or many other podcast providers. And please listen to the edited podcast of this live stream on Spotify that will be posted later today or tomorrow. Also, follow XcellarComics on Facebook, Instagram, and or Twitter. And follow Exceller_comics on TikTok and whatnot. And then watch our show on the Whatnot app on Fridays, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. I actually didn't even mention that during the show, but I didn't even have one last week. My Friday night got away from me, so it didn't happen. But it'll definitely happen this Friday, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. And you can bookmark that show now. And then check out what we have to offer on eBay at Exceller_comics and XcellarComics.com. And we'll, like Mike mentioned, as soon as the show ends, about 5 minutes later, we're going to start another live stream, which will be an unboxing of what we will have to offer on eBay soon as well. And then lastly, watch our next live stream next Sunday at 1:30 p.m.-ish Eastern Standard Time. And actually, that one will not have Mike, but hopefully we'll have another fill-in host. We've got quite a few as options, so it's still going to be a great show. And I just kind of added in there, Pat. Are you good for next Sunday, or do you want next Sunday to be the Sunday off?
Yeah, it's up to you. We can skip next week and do the week after, or go next week and whatever you want to do it.
Well, let's do this for now. We'll call it next week. I'll check with Tyler. If next week isn't good for him, then we'll do it the next one. But I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Check us out on Facebook and Instagram. We'll post on there what our permanent schedule here will be soon. Sound good?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right. We got anything else? Is that going to do it?
That's it.
All right. Once again, we'll definitely get those sound effects tightened up for next show. Until then, don't forget that appreciating great art is awesome and reading a great story is fun. So why not pick up a comic book and do both? Exceller out.